Spring has sprung and it's a great time to get outside, enjoy the great outdoors, and to come to Old Town Portsmouth where there's lots of things taking place outdoors, including right here. This is the courtyard of the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center. On the first Friday night of every month, this place comes alive with the sound of music, with food, with drinks, and with free exhibits. I'll tell you more about it on this episode of Museum Moments. Welcome to this May-June 2018 episode of Museum Moments, the show that's your window onto what's happening right here in Museum City, Portsmouth. I'm your host, Rob Lauer. I'm standing in the courtyard of the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center. Now, on the first Friday of every month, the courtyard comes alive with the sound of music, with free food, refreshments, drinks, and free entrance to the exhibits in the museum. The museum's exhibits change throughout the year, and they also sponsor classes, programs, lots of things. Here's someone to tell us about what's coming up this May and June. I'm joined by Stephen Grunnett from the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center. Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you very much. Well, actually, you're joining us here in our courtyard.
I am here in your courtyard. Now, before we start off, my intro to this, I said that some great things happen here on the first Friday of every month at this time of year when it's nice warm weather. Tell us about that. What happens in the courtyard of the Art and Cultural Center every first Friday?
Okay, March through October, we have a First Friday event, which is a concert in the courtyard. If it's nice out, then this is sponsored by Ports Events and the Portsmouth Partnership, Town Bank, and the Portsmouth Housing and Redevelopment Authority. So we'll have music, and they're local acts. Bobby Black Hat Walters and Louis McGee. We've had the Wampler Brothers, and they're coming up in May.
Okay.
So they start in March, and they'll go through the month of October.
And this is the first Friday of the month.
The first Friday of every month from 5 to 8 o'clock. And if the weather isn't nice, we have an annex building next door. So we have a space where we can host the concert if the weather isn't looking so hot.
And it's not just music, it's also food.
It's an open house. And a lot of these open houses are new exhibits opening for the first time because, you know, we change exhibits here as well. And so the one that just opened last month is the one here in the courtyard of outdoor sculptures. And this will be up through mid-October. And every year we have a People's Choice Award.
Okay.
So visitors can vote on their favorite sculpture, and we'll count the votes. The voting goes through August 1st. So we'll count the votes. And in August, we'll announce the award to the artists with the most votes, and they're the ones that win a People's Choice Award, and they get a $500 prize.
Wow.
Yeah, so that isn't chicken feed.
That's not. Okay.
No.
Yeah, how many sculptures do you have here in the courtyard
This
right
year
now?
I believe we have 8.
Okay.
And a lot of them are local but regional, so some come from as far away as Maine, North and South Carolina, and some we've had from even further away like Arizona.
Oh, wow.
But, yeah.
Okay. So those are on display throughout the day, and just come and take a look at them and then go inside and vote?
Exactly.
Okay.
And in May, we won't have any opening exhibits, but the Wampler Brothers will be the first Friday act, and we'll have some special events in the courtyard and as well as inside the museum for the first Saturday.
Okay.
So we also have this first Saturday, which follows the first Friday every month. And this one in May will be kite decorating. Every year we have a focus on kites here because we've had some exhibits on kites in the past. And so visitors can purchase kite kits for $5 each, and they'll fly. I mean, these kites I think are some of the easiest to fly and put together. So generally you're spending most of the time decorating them with magic markers. So you can do that here, or you can take them home. Now, in the courtyard, we will be kicking off the farmers market. So the farmers market will start in May every Saturday from 9 to 1, and we'll have a concert here during the day of steel pan drums.
Oh, great.
So we are going to be hosting the Rhythm Project, and so this is a group of kids who have been practicing all year since the beginning of the school year after Christmas. and they're going to be playing their steel pans here in the courtyard.
And that's the first Saturday in May? Or?
That's the first Saturday in May. So that'll be from 11 o'clock, and the concert will go till 1 o'clock.
Great.
Yeah. And then we'll be open free. People can come see the exhibits. Now in June, we will have 2 new exhibits.
Okay.
So we're going to be opening 2 exhibits that focus on photography. One of them will be of the Underground Railroad. So this artist has researched the path that enslaved people would have taken to find freedom, which wasn't easy because so much of it was secretive.
All right.
But then they took contemporary photographs of these sites. And so that exhibit will be opening probably in June sometime. But in May, we'll open an exhibit called We Are the Music Makers. So these are photographs of folk musicians throughout this region and in the Carolinas. And we'll have a lot of musical events. So that first weekend in June, first Friday, will be blues artist Bobby Black Cat Walters.
Wow.
From 5 to 8. And then the first Saturday will feature a band called the Who We Are Not Trio. And they'll be playing here in the courtyard, I believe, from 11 to 1, again during the farmers market. But before then, we'll have another event mid-May to kick off the exhibit called the Music Maker Blues Review. And that will be a ticketed event, and it will be Thursday evening on May 17th. And you can actually purchase tickets with the Virginia Arts Festival.
Okay.
But you can certainly call us if you have any questions about that event or any of the other events that I've been blabbing about.
So what number would they call?
They would want to call 393-8543, and we also have a website that they can go online and get information from, www.portsmouthartcenter.com, and we also have a Facebook page.
That's great because, I mean, you have the visual stuff, but then you also have this live performance element to all these.
Yeah,
that's great.
Especially for this Music Makers exhibit, which focuses on musicians.
Yeah.
And there'll be a lot of fun programs to go along with it.
Can you tell us about some of those programs, or are they still in development?
Well, the ones that I had mentioned earlier
Okay.
for the first weekend in June with First Friday and the first Saturday, and then there's that one in May, which opens the exhibit on May 17th.
Now the first Friday nights, it's music, but is it all food and?
We have refreshments. Usually they're heavier when we're opening an exhibit. So in June we'll be opening that exhibit for the public on June 1st, and that's when we'll have an open house and the Bobby Black Cat Walters concert, and we'll have heavier hors d'oeuvres inside.
Great.
And it's all free.
Great.
It's an
You can't beat
incredible
that.
value.
Yeah, it really is. Now, are there specific hours at this time of year that the Art and Cultural Center is open, days and hours?
The museum is open Wednesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. On Sundays we're open from 1 to 5 p.m. And then for those first Fridays we are open till 8 o'clock, of course, so we're open extended.
And there's also the museum gift shop, which is right around the corner.
And the museum gift shop is, almost a destination in itself. So the gift shop manager, Lionel Bergeau, sells a great deal of consignment work from local artists. And so there's a large focus on handmade, original arts and crafts that you can't find
anywhere else.
No, absolutely not. And it's, for the size of our museum, huge. It's the biggest museum gift shop in the area compared to the other art venues, regardless of their size.
Great.
So it's a pretty amazing place.
Well, great. Well, thanks for taking time from your schedule to come here and tell us about it.
Rob. Vote on your favorite sculpture when you have a chance.
I will, and you come down here and you take in the sculptures and you vote as well. When we return to Museum Moments, we'll have a look at what's coming up this May and June at the Children's Museum of Virginia. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
There's a place where imaginations are sparked, where curiosity's reward is laughter, where history comes to play, and entertainment choices are many. With all tunnels now open in both directions, Portsmouth is now so very easy to reach. We invite you to eat, play, shop, and stay. All tunnels are now open. Rediscover your neighbor, Portsmouth.
Everybody's talking about Portsmouth. Everybody's talking about Portsmouth.
Everybody's talking about Portsmouth.
Everybody's talking about Portsmouth. Woo!
Everybody's
talking about Portsmouth.
Woo! Everybody.
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 Everybody. Everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody's talking about me. Everybody's talking about Portsmouth.
Everybody's talking about Portsmouth.
Portsmouth on the right side of the river. Rediscover your neighbor, the new Portsmouth.
There's a place where imaginations are sparked, where curiosity's reward is laughter, where history comes to play, and entertainment choices are many. With all tunnels now open in both directions, Portsmouth is now so very easy to reach. We invite you to eat, play, shop, and stay. All tunnels are now open. Rediscover your neighbor, Portsmouth.
Welcome back to this May-June 2018 episode of Museum Moments. The largest museum in the city of Portsmouth is the Children's Museum of Virginia. It's open throughout the year, has great displays, activities, and this summer there are day camps that are being sponsored. Here's someone from the museum to tell us what's in store. Corey Staten is an educator with the Children's Museum of Virginia, and he's joining us now to tell us about events coming up this May and June. Welcome, Corey.
Thank you for having me, Rob.
So what's coming up in May and June at the Children's Museum?
Well, lots of great things are continuing and starting in the months of May and June. For the first couple of weeks of May, we will still have the Once Upon a Time Fairy Tale Land exhibit at the Children's Museum that celebrates the fairy tale culture around the world. Stories such as Limpopo, Cinderella, Anansi and the Talking Melon, they celebrate those cultures through the fairy tales that come from different folklore traditions from around the world. So it's still a fun exhibit. Still got a little time to squeeze in there in the first couple of weeks of May before the exhibit goes away. Now the good thing, even though the exhibit is going away in May, the month of May is also the month when we open up 7 days a week, starting on Memorial Day Monday and going through Labor Day in September. So that's always exciting times at the Children's Museum as well. The month of June, we have our next traveling exhibit coming to the Children's Museum. That's all about turtles and tortoises, where you get to do some conservation studying while you're playing. So you get to learn about turtle habitats, dangers to tortoises, sea turtles and land tortoises, and you get to learn about how they live and what threatens them from the environment and from the standpoint of them being used as pets or traded as pets. So that's going to be a fun exhibit with lots of activities and storytelling and things of that nature. Speaking of storytelling, every Friday at 10 a.m. at the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center, there'll be a story time and art exhibit, and that's great for preschoolers. It'll be there's a $2 admission, and that comes with a story time. In addition, with a craft activity that's related to this featured story for that day. So those are some of the things that's going on. Of course, We have the STEM studio that goes on where kids can come in and explore the world of science through science, technology, engineering, and mathematics on Saturdays, and lots of other events. You can also enroll in one of the many summer camps that we will be featuring this summer. We have a You Can Build Lego camp. We have a Creative Thunder drum and rhythm camp that's going to be taught by yours truly. We have lots of different camps that are going on. So check out our website and make sure that you go out and you see all the events and activities and find out how you can enroll in those camps and be part of what the Children's Museum has to offer. We always say, come, see, play, and explore at the Children's Museum of Virginia.
And those camps, those are week-long camps?
The camps are week-long camps. They're half-a-day camps offered. They're full-day camp offerings. Lots of different offerings for people that want to come out and enroll their children in different age groups. So again, go to the website, check it out, and you can see what we have to offer for what age groups, whether it's half-day or all-day camp activity for the week.
All right, sounds like a lot of fun. Thanks, Corey.
Oh, thank you.
All right. When we come back to Museum Moments, we'll take a look at some other events that are taking place in the museums here in Portsmouth. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You're watching PCTV, television for the new Portsmouth.
Portsmouth on the right side of the river. Rediscover your neighbor, the new Portsmouth.
Welcome back to our May-June 2018 episode of Museum Moments. You know, there's a lot of history here in Portsmouth, and the City of Portsmouth Museums are dedicated to preserving that history and passing on that knowledge. They have a project coming up in the next year, and here's someone to tell us all about it. I'm joined by Emily Kilgore, who's from the History Division of the City of Portsmouth Museums. Welcome.
Hi.
Good to have you back.
Nice to be here.
Now, I understand, being the history girl that you are, that you have a project that you're working on for next year, and this is associated with which of the museums?
It's for the Portsmouth Colored Community Library Museum, and we are putting together a whole new exhibit that is going to be talking about what people did for fun while the library was open. So 1949 and 1963, what was anybody in any age group doing for fun during school, after school, during the evening, sometimes on the weekends, whatever.
Okay, now this is going to be replacing an exhibit,
it's going to be replacing the Black Business District exhibit that's currently up. It's been up for about 3 years now, so we're going to take it out and put something new in.
And this will be what, African Americans?
It will be,
because this was the time of segregation.
Yes,
where
it will be. Also, different activities that African Americans were doing for fun, whether it was something that would have been segregated, something that they would be working with somebody else on, just, entertainment.
Capture a slice of life.
Exactly.
Okay, now I understand that you have some little photographs here. And
I do. And I've got all kinds of different photos. You want me to show them to you? So this particular one right here, this is one of my favorites because this lady is a debutante. So she was somebody who was coming of age, and the high schools would have debutante balls. So we really enjoyed seeing the different pictures that they have. They would go through multiple weeks of different educational programs, classes. They learn proper manners, how to eat right, how to go to school.
How to walk into a room.
Exactly, how to walk into a room in high heels, which is something I can't do very well. So then they would, at the end, have a debutante ball, and somebody would be claimed queen of the debutantes. She'd be voted on by everybody else, and she got to wear a fancy little crown and a dress. And this is just something that I have no idea about until
You've never been a debutante
I was never a debutante myself, so it was not something that I learned how to do. So she kind of brings together something different. So we also have a picture of the ladies before they would have gone through their debutante process. So it was usually a class of about 20 girls, all turning 16 to 18 years old, depending on what area they were from. And so these are the kind of pictures that we're looking for. We're looking for people's debutante experiences. We've had some people tell us about the crazy dresses that they wore and all the crinoline and lace that was involved. So something completely different than we don't think about it so much today. I was informed by some people that debutante balls still exist, so we're specifically looking for ones that happened between 1949 and 1963.
Okay, great.
So,
what are some of the other pictures you have here?
This is something I am very familiar with because I myself was a variety show member. This is a group of tap dancers who were all from different elementary schools in Portsmouth. So they would all come together. They would learn a specific routine and all dance that together, but then the rest of the show would be filled with whatever talents the children had. So everything from ballet dancing to different types of singing. They would tell jokes, they would do tricks, sometimes they'd bring their pets and do a show and tell, but it was something that the schools put on every year. So we have that picture to be able to do that. So this photograph is one of my favorites because I'm sure everybody remembers doing science fairs in middle school. And this particular one is a group of young boys that are all actually doing a science fair competition at Riddick Weaver Junior High. And they are trying to beat out the rest of the people by having a perfect model of the solar system. So these particular kids, they look like they're having a great time. I mean, absolutely great time, but I'm sure everybody recalls doing volcanoes and solar systems and talking about the planet and everything like that. So this one is a fun one. That's the kind of thing. So that's during school hours, but still something that they did for fun.
Wow, look at the way they're dressed. No, who wears the tie and jacket to school anymore?
Exactly. And it's totally
great.
You tend to wonder, is it a school uniform or is it just something that they were doing because they knew it was a presentation day? We all try to look nice on presentation days. So in addition to that, we have a class where 2 dancers are being taught how to actually learn the proper forms of ballet. Again, this is something I'm very familiar with. So when I found this photograph, I had to learn everything I possibly could about it. And there were different teachers that would work in the different high schools, and they would actually use the high school gymnasiums to turn them into dance classes after school. Oh, cool. So the young kids would come in, and the high schoolers would learn how to teach the young children, and then the teachers would sit there and work with them close one-on-one, sometimes 2-on-2. And I love the pose that they're doing. It's very good form, and the teacher looks very excited with the way that they are. So, we see a couple of photos like this coming in too. The different people that went through different dance classes or piano lessons or horseback riding, just things that the young children did after school. So that's something that we're trying to find right now. And in addition to that, we know that everybody loves to go to the movies.
Right.
So this is something that we do have photographs of 2 specific movie theaters that existed in the business district, the Capitol Theater as well as the Lyric Theater. So we're not only looking for photographs of the theater, but we're also looking for ticket stubs or posters that people may have taken.
So any sort of artifact from that time.
Any sort of artifact, yep.
And an artifact can be what was originally thought of as junk.
Exactly. So if you like to hold on to your movie tickets, this is the time to bring them out. And what I specifically love about the Capitol is that the Capitol was not only a movie theater, it was also a stage. So those dancers that we saw earlier, they could come and perform on them. In addition, they also had big names come through. People like Ruth Brown, Ciceretta Jones in the earlier time would have performed at theaters like this.
Wow.
So, we're looking for stuff like that beyond just the movie ticket. We're looking for, if you remember seeing Louis Armstrong or something like that, that's the kind of thing that we need.
What about the memories like that? Say you don't have an artifact, but you do remember things. Is there a venue or a way that people can record?
What we're trying to do is we're actually trying to gather those stories. People can come to the Colored Library Museum and actually tell us what they remember, what they recall, and because those stories are going to be what brings in the actual exhibit itself. We're working on all this research, and we're going based off of photographs and newspaper articles.
So you come in and see the photos and all, but there'll be written literature on the wall.
There'll be actual testimony of people who remember different things from that era. We've had a lot of stories like that come in with the Black Business District. People remember the barber shop. They remember the grocery store that existed. They can tell us about the pool hall where they went and played pool. So those are the kinds of stories that we are looking for once again.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, is the Color Community Library, is that open set hours? Is it open just at certain times?
It's open right now. It's open Fridays and Saturdays, 12 to 5. If we find that people cannot meet us at that time, they are welcome to call the Naval Shipyard Museum, which is where I'm home based, and they can chat with us, they can meet with us. We can set up a time to meet at the library, and what we're aiming to do is collect photos and stories and scan them and keep them not only as a memory for the exhibit, but also a memory of Portsmouth. It's a story that Portsmouth's not told before, so we're working on it now.
Well, great. Now, so if someone realizes, oh, in a drawer up in my attic, or I have these things, is there a number that they call?
They can call us at 757-393-8591. That's the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard Museum. It's the history division for the Portsmouth Museums.
And they can leave a message or
They can leave a message. They can speak to myself or the other two people who work in the office with me, and just say that they want to meet with us, they want to talk with us, and help us tell this story, because it's the story of Portsmouth, so we want to hear from the people of Portsmouth.
That's great. That's fantastic. Now, this show that we're filming today is for May and June. Any things going on with the Shipyard Museum? I know that we were doing some renovations.
The Shipyard Museum is still under renovations. Luckily, it's a little warmer, so we don't have the heaters on as much anymore, but you never know with Virginia weather. So we don't have an update right now, but I can tell you that the Lightship Portsmouth is now open for hours.
Okay.
It's open on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and that is free still, so people can come by and come get a really great tour and learn all about the Lightship if you've never been on it.
Well, Emily, thanks for coming here and telling us about this. Now, again, just wrap it up one more time and tell our viewers what they can
So we need photos, we need stories, we need artifacts. If you remember anything from the time period of 1949 and 1963, with Portsmouth being segregated, we want to hear the stories of what everybody was doing for fun, the different types of entertainment, movie theaters, ballet recitals, piano shows, horseback riding, whatever you were doing, those are the stories we want to hear.
So give her a call and have your memories and your artifacts be part of this upcoming exhibit. Thanks for joining us, Emily.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for our show today. If you'd like to find out more about any of the museums featured on today's program, simply log on to www.portsvaevents.com. You'll find the museums as well as the exhibits and the activities listed in order of dates. And then come visit us here in Museum City, Portsmouth. I'm Rob Lauer. Join me next time for our July-August episode of Museum Moments.
There's a place where imaginations are sparked, where curiosity's reward is laughter, where history comes to play, and entertainment choices are many. With all tunnels now open in both directions, Portsmouth is now so very easy to reach. We invite you to eat, play, shop, and stay. All tunnels are now open. Rediscover your neighbor, Portsmouth.
Everybody's talking about Portsmouth. Everybody's talking about Portsmouth.
Everybody's talking about Portsmouth.
Everybody's talking about Portsmouth.
Woo!
Everybody's talking about Portsmouth.
Everybody's talking about me. Everybody's talking about Portsmouth.
Everybody's talking about Portsmouth.
There's a place where imaginations are sparked, where curiosity's reward is laughter, where history comes to play, and entertainment choices are many. With all tunnels now open in both directions, Portsmouth is now so very easy to reach. We invite you to eat, play, shop, and stay. All tunnels are now open. Rediscover your neighbor, Portsmouth.